Good afternoon, and welcome to today's episode of Homes WTF, Where to Focus. We're going to be talking today with Jason, talking primarily about the trends in remodeling and standard versus upscale and what's out there today and what's hot and what's not. So before we do that, I want to talk for just a second about, have you guys ever heard of the story of the woman who would not sell that was in Seattle, Washington? This was like years ago. Go back 75 years ago. This was a story that had come up and it came across my desk the other day and I was like, I'm going to keep this one for today. There was a woman who, her name was Edith Macefield. She wasn't famous. She wasn't wealthy. She just lived a quiet life in a small farmhouse that was in Seattle. She purchased the house in the 1950s and she spent decades there caring for her mother. And it wasn't a big house. It was just like a little homestead. So by the early 2000s, when Seattle started developing, they came in and they wanted to buy her out. But her house was the only one that remained, and she held fast to that. So the developers just kept going up and up. They eventually offered her over $1 million, and she still said no. And she wound up living in that home until she passed away. So, I find that fascinating. And when she died, she actually left the house because she had become such good friends with the developer. She left the house to him. And he wound up, he had ideas of building it up to try to preserve her memory and all that stuff, but because he had grown so fond of her, but they wound up not doing that, and they did develop over it over time. But we hold on to these things, because we're so attached to them and our emotions and what we've built there. And I just thought that was a really cool story because it's not something that you really see a lot of. And what actually happened in the end was the guy getting in the end, and he wound up taking it over anyway. But so let's talk to Jason today about trends in remodeling. Jason.
Nat sees a lot of this too, though, so we
I
can't leave him out.
No,
yeah, but you're smarter than I am. So.
Shit.
I'd like to talk to
That is so untrue. All right, what do you want to talk about?
Well, what do you see?
What do I see? Okay, so remodeling is always, very trendy for the most part, but you do have the customers that come around, and it doesn't matter what the trend is, they're going to do what they want to do, right? Whenever I have a customer come to me and go, hey, Jason, I want to do this. I really like these, the stuff that looks like stones, and, it's more of a back earth tone type era of stuff that they like, and it's really people that are above our age, 60s, 70s, 80s, even I get 80-year-old people that do remodels, and they still like that look. The problem is finding that stuff, and it's dictated by trends. So right now, trends are grays and that type of scheme of things. They aren't really a stone-looking material or earth tones and stuff like that. Although we still do them, it's just harder to find the material. So whenever a customer asks me if we can do one of those type of trends that aren't really trending, like an older trend or something, then the answer to that can be yes. But I always make sure that I ask them the questions. What are you going to be doing? Just like with anything, we talk about this a lot. What are you going to be doing with this house? Are you staying here? Are you looking to sell at some point? Because if you're going to put $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 roughly into some type of remodeling, you're going to put in something that isn't trending now, and you're going to try and sell this in 10 years. It's going to hurt you because everybody else that you're looking at is going to be looking at the same product. Then all of a sudden they're going to come in and they may love it, but I think it's a harder sell to the general public because of really what's going on with the masses. What do you think, Nat, about that kind of?
Yeah. So you're saying your recommendation is to try to stay a little bit more mainstream.
Yeah. Unless you're going to keep
the idea
it.
to sell.
Yeah.
People all the time tell me when they're buying a house that they're buying their forever home. But statistically, people move 12 times over the course of their life.
12.
12 times is the average. So are you buying your forever home right now? Not likely, even if that's your intention. Things do change.
They do.
So I think there is some wisdom there. But if you're not intending to sell in the foreseeable future, meaning, next 5 years, there's no way I'm moving or whatever, build something you love.
Yeah,
You live there. You spend a lot of time there.
Yep.
But what are the most popular trends right now? Like, do you get a lot of calls for two-tone cabinets in the kitchen?
Yeah. So I mean, we hear a lot, and a lot of stuff is, I guess you want to say, is what's trending and what's trendy. That's different. So trending is stuff that you're going to see when you go to your local box store, Home Depots, Lowe's, Floor and Decors, places like that. So the bulk of the stuff is what you're seeing is basically the most popular stuff that you're going to put in. Like I said, the grays and stuff like that. Trendy would be one of Nat's things that he likes. He likes actual real brass, right? But that's not a trendy thing. But the color of that definitely is. So you see that come in and out. So right now, back in the 80s and stuff, you saw a lot of brass colored gold fixtures for your doorknobs and your hinges and everything else. Well, that's coming back around. So
to be fair, I don't have brass in my current home.
I know, but you want it.
Wish you did.
The idea
You
of
want
why,
some brass
why
handles.
brass is special for door
Real
handles.
brass. He wants the brass balls in his house. That's what he wants. Brass ball handles. But
As
anyway,
a color, I don't like it.
right?
for
I don't
fixtures
either.
and
I don't
stuff.
care for it either. But so yes, do we see different color cabinets? I'm getting ready to do one right now. The island is one color, and the bulk of the cabinets against the wall are a different color. Same thing with whatever top material they're going to use. Now, if you want to talk about, there's tons of tops. People go quartz, they go granite. Well, and then you have the concrete, and now really coming back in and trying to be trendy is epoxy. People are going. I'm starting to see some of that stuff now. So, and really, they'll do those tops on different places as well. So they may have one color top on their main cabinets, and they may have a totally different color top on their island. Flooring used to be, you would see a lot more broken up, instead of flooring throughout
Choppy.
the whole house. It was
One
very,
room, this.
Yeah, and you saw that a lot. Now, you see mostly, even if people don't like the way that a solid surface type floor feels, whether it's a tile or a LVP, which is a vinyl plank or anything like that, they don't like the feel of it on their feet, but they're not going to switch their product just because they want it to be the same. Like they wouldn't put carpet in the bedrooms now. Even though they love
Are you
it.
a fan of the choppy floors?
I'm not a fan of choppy, but I am not a fan of having a solid surface floor in my bedrooms. I like carpet in my bedrooms.
I agree. I still like carpet in the bedrooms.
Even if it's a throw rug, but I don't really care for that because you're getting off of that throw rug pretty much,
Right.
a lot. So
What about switching different flooring styles? If you've got all on the same floor, you've got 5 different rooms with all different types of flooring.
too much.
Too much, right?
I think. But I mean,
That overwhelms me
yeah,
when
and
I
you
walk
don't.
into a house like that.
You don't see that much. And if it's an older house and you're coming in to do the remodel, but you see a lot of couple, like 2 different kind of floors, like maybe tile in the kitchen and then whatever throughout the rest, or maybe even tile in the kitchens and bathrooms kind of thing, and then a different kind of flooring outside of that. But is that trendy? It's not really trendy, I don't think. I think there are trendy products out there, and we are getting more and more technologically savvy with the stuff that we're putting in homes. For instance, we just talked about this the other day. Like there's cooktops that can go underneath your...
You said that. That was crazy.
Yeah, there's cooktops that can go underneath your solid surface countertops that you just put a pad. They're called InvisiCook systems, and I'm not advertising for them, but that's what they're called. So if you wanted to look it up, you put a pad on top of your granite or your solid surface, and you hit these buttons, and it warms up, boil water, whatever. As soon as you take that pot off and you take that pad off, you can touch the countertop. It's not hot.
So it's induction?
It's an induction cook system. So I don't know how.
With the
Do we know how long they're
going to
last? I don't know.
One, but I've never seen one where it was actually built into the cabinetry underneath the granite countertop, and you put a pad down to create your stove.
Yep.
So essentially, you don't have a stove or a stovetop until you put those pads down, and then when you take it away, you have countertop.
Correct. All free countertop to however you want to use it. Because
wonder how
even if you were to
that's gonna
put like a bag of groceries where those suspected burners would be, they don't do anything until you have that special pad up on top of it. You have to have that pad.
Okay, I'm a fan of that.
And the pad itself, is it really hot when you're done cooking?
No, you
or-
can pick it right up. You just pick it right up off like you're like
So
you're
the
boiling
pan or
pot of
the
water.
pot- You also
pick
have
up.
to have special pots and pans, right?
Yes,
No?
you do.
To work
Well,
with
for
it?
some,
You do.
for some, not
the
all.
induction.
Yeah, if there's a kind of a. They're getting to be more technically, and I don't know because they're getting so technical with them. They're saying that there's other pans out there that you can use that will work not as effectively though, right?
Okay.
For the even cooking.
Right. That's get into all that stuff. So I don't. That's not my scoop. You
Different
know, if
topic.
right, different topic for somebody else that knows about that. We get a chef in here next.
I like that.
but
Maybe
so-
they'll bring treats.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they do bring treats. That'd be great. But so for having something like that, a lot of people need those because countertop is at a premium. People love having counter, and stuff gets smaller, it gets bigger, depending on where you're at. So with a system like that, you have full use of your countertops. So, you see a lot of things like that. As far as like when you would go into bathrooms and stuff, and the tried and true thing with bathrooms have always been if you've got, a couple of bathrooms in the house, it's okay if you only have one tub. On the real estate side of things, and I say yes and I say no because with all the stuff they have, what's the reasoning for having a tub, right? Kids to be in the tub. Kids don't take tubs anymore. These people have these little, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, little tubs. They're tubs, but they put them in the shower and they're removable. So, and the wands and everything that you have, it's actually probably more effective and less waste of resources being water rather than filling up this whole tub for this kid to get in where you can have something that's small, movable, or just, when they get big enough, put them in the shower. But you don't really see when I'm asking people, do your kids take bathtubs? Because parents don't leave them in there anymore to get them
Right.
out of their nerves to go, give me 10 minutes and get in the tub.
That's interesting. I've never thought about that. I have a 4-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And the 4-year-old is the only one that still takes a bath. And he's getting out of it. The other two just take showers. So that's accurate. I didn't think about that, but
Yeah, so
I feel like when I was 8 years old, I was still taking baths.
I've got a bathtub. I never have gotten into it.
and I take so many out because of that. So bathrooms, you see, especially masters. So let's just go with that. Masters, you're going to see if they have a tub, it's going to be a freestanding tub. There's no tub decks. There's no corner tubs. There's none of that stuff anymore. Even the big Whirlpool jetted tubs that those I couldn't tell you when the last time I
A
put one of them in.
garden tub.
Yeah, it's been years and years and
When
years.
I'm walking through a house that I'm preparing to list with the seller and they have a big garden tub, I always ask, "Oh, do you use that a lot?" And it's very rare that somebody says, "Yeah, I love that thing."
I'd like a Roman bath, please.
They go unused a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And so it's a waste of space for us. They'd rather have the big showers that we have to offer where, you can bring in this little teak bench or whatever to sit on to women to shave their legs. We put niches in on the bottom half of these walls so you can raise your feet up to
More
shave your legs.
functional these days. More functional. Now I have in my house, there's those old, you open the door and you pull down the ironing board.
Right. Yeah.
Mine's blocked by a utility sink. The house was built in the 80s and they just decided that it was no longer functional. Let's just block it. It doesn't matter. Nobody's ever going to iron
Right.
anymore.
Would you use it if it
Well,
wasn't blocked?
Fortunately, I'm married to a previous dry cleaner, so no. Everything we need to be ironed goes to the dry cleaner because of him.
Trendy iron boards, right? Not in there because they have, if somebody does it, they use these steam things at home. You just,
Right.
right. So that's a trend. I mean, it's
trend.
the trending popularity, right? So everything can be trendy. But as far as the bathrooms and stuff, very high trending with no tubs. Trying to make more vanity space because most houses don't have a lot of vanity space and people love it for whatever reason. So they're taking out those tubs and they're increasing that size for vanity space or whatever, or putting in you see a lot of houses there in the mid-level price points and stuff too, where the toilet is kind of exposed in the room, and a lot of people like the thought of having a toilet room or a closet for that type of
The
thing.
water closet.
Yeah, and that's
Water
a perfect
closet.
place for take out a toilet and do something like that. So that's high on the trending thing. So you're going to see a lot of, I don't know, everybody probably remembers, you don't see any plate glass mirrors anymore. You do when you go in and you're tearing them out, but we never put them back in. And as far as that goes, we really are seeing a lot of the glass companies that are saying they don't even do that anymore.
Remember back when they used to have whole walls in
yeah.
the living room or in the entryway? They were all mirror.
Yeah. We just did a house and we took down the whole
Yes.
hallway. Every bit of the hallway was all
Yes.
mirrors.
We had
Crazy.
a house like that we had to do that too. And when I was growing up, that was one of the walls. When you walk in, all mirror.
We actually know the person's parents. I'm not going to say the name that I did that in.
So when you're taking down these plate glass mirrors, what are you replacing them with? Just framed mirrors or what?
No,
Small
yeah.
mirrors?
We give it to the customer on that, because mirrors are one of those funky things. So I can give you a price for a mirror, and you may or may not even come close to that. I mean, that mirror, you can get a mirror for $40. You can get a mirror for $500 for your one single mirror it's all personal preference. So we have the customers buy that, but it is going to be some type of single unit type mirror, whether it's a plated, it can still be a plate, but it's going to not be the square up and down total thing. They're going to usually buy a framed or even a frameless type of system
We like
like that.
frame these days. This
Yeah.
is 1970.
Right. You see a lot of that, and then also too, when they have the size and the space in a vanity, we're doing a lot of towers, what they call them. So in between the two, if you have a double bowl sink,
Yes.
we're putting a cabinet on the top too, with outlets and stuff in there. So you can keep all your whatever's plugged in, and you can open and close the door, more space, da-da-da. So we do that a lot too.
We do more charging now than we did back in the day.
Sure, fair, yeah. I sometimes I feel like people try to just will things back into popularity. Like force things to become popular again.
Oh my God.
I have for years heard just every now and then somebody make an offhand comment that wallpaper is coming back into style, but I haven't seen that
I
anywhere.
have.
Man,
Are
yes.
you getting a lot of
yes.
calls for wallpaper?
Yes.
Regretfully so.
Yeah, so people are trying to put wallpaper back.
They
up.
are trying. When somebody says they want to do wallpaper, so I'm fortunate enough to just recommend Missy to say, go and paint the mural. Paint the whatever wallpaper. And it's just
I
as
don't
cheap.
like wallpaper. Don't.
No, I don't either.
We bought
And
a
with a
house.
mural, if it's just the same price, just about by the time you get finished with prep work, hanging it and everything else, getting it right. And people are really picky with wallpaper. Like, it's got to be lining up.
Even
though,
that's a
it's
skill set.
Yeah,
right?
and that's one of the other things. The skilled labor to do it. It's disappeared.
The house that we bought, the very first thing I wanted to do was to take down the wallpaper in the half bath. And I can't tell you how many people have walked into that bathroom and go, oh my gosh, I love this wallpaper. And I'm like, no, please stop. So I can't get it down now.
Yeah, but it's become.
we go through trends, right? This is I think this will be an interesting question or topic. Like for a long time we wanted texture on all of our ceilings, or we wanted parquet
popcorn
floors,
ceilings.
or we wanted to cover every square inch of hardwoods with carpet or whatever it was. What do you think, Rhonda then Jason, are the current trends that 15 years from now we're all going to look back and go, what were we thinking? Why were we doing that?
Oh, 100% wallpaper is going to be one of them.
I don't think we've established that wallpaper is
I do, because looking at homes when we were looking, that was one of the, I was like, oh, wow, we're really doing that again. And I made a comment about that a few times. So I think that the people who are doing that don't remember when wallpaper went out, and they think that they're doing something great and wonderful. They'll get tired of it.
That's one of those real homes. What WTF?
Right. That's a real home. What the? Right.
Where focus.
Yeah. Where to focus?
not on the wallpaper.
Yeah, not on the wallpaper. Rhonda shag. No, I'm joking. I always have to bring the shag. Let's put the shag carpet on the wall, Jason. Oh my God, what are you talking about?
I'm telling you, Elvis.
There's
did
another WTF right there. So I think
Carpet in the bathrooms.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's already out of style. Nobody does that.
God, I hope
That-
nobody. That's awful.
That was
worst thing you could
the
ever
dark
do.
ages of home design.
I think we're going to start slowly coming out of open concept.
Oh, yes.
I think people are going to decide that you see it a little bit now where things get a little bit more echoey and they don't put the proper things in there to make it not echoey. So in just the open things, I'm seeing a little bit of that to where people want to kind of maybe have their own space, especially because a lot of people are at home now too, maybe. And they need to have privacy, whether it's away from kids or your significant others or whatever. So I think that maybe we're going to see it go back maybe towards a little bit more separation instead of open. It's still going to be there, but I don't think it's just going to be as popular. A lot of people, they go, hey, a few years ago, that was a big thing. Come in and let's open this up as much as we can possibly open it. Where now I'm not seeing that as much. Opening a little bit, but
I'm kind of liking the fact that that's going away. I like to have a place where you can just go and not necessarily have everything. And when you've got kids at home, you want to have a little bit of a quiet space.
Sure. It's
Message,
hard.
sure.
It's hard to have the kids' corner in a big open concept
Right.
house, but it's easy to have a playroom. You just shut the door,
right.
and say that's the kids' area. We're not going to worry about that.
Yep.
When guests come over and stuff. I actually think. I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with me on this, but I think there'll be a time where we look back and wonder why we went so all in on vinyl flooring, vinyl plank, and specifically vinyl tile.
I don't like the vinyl tile.
The stick down vinyl tiles, I hate those. But I think even vinyl plank is going to eventually become a lot less popular, and people are going to wonder why we went so all in on that product.
I can see that. But at the same fact, they keep putting so much more technology into these floors, and they're getting more and more and more to where they really simulating like sometimes I find myself almost wanting to go down and touch it. So I think that it's probably pretty good to use that. I think it's an advantage over traditional hardwood floors, if that's what you're going for, because I don't like traditional on-site finished hardwood floors. One problem, and it becomes a major
How
problem.
do you feel about engineered hardwood floors?
I don't mind them as much, but the same problem goes with on-site finished hardwood floors. There's nothing underneath them. When water gets underneath, they're destroyed. One leak from the washing machine, one leak from the dishwasher, major claims. And if you're doing that throughout your whole house, that's a major disturb. You can't fix that. Take that back. On very rare occasions, you can dry them out if you're really quick and it's not as bad a leak, and you can save them. But if not, you can't. And the thing that's nice about the vinyl plank is we use one that offers a warranty, even on your subfloors if it does leak through. They'll replace subfloor. So I mean, it's hard to get away from that, I think. I can see what you're saying though. At the same time, it's still the vinyl thing, right? That's kind of it.
All right. Well, I think that that's really good information too, because if you don't think about the trends that you're going into when you're looking at houses and when you're remodeling your own home and thinking about that going forward, it can really cause a problem for you. So next week, we are going to be talking about the affordability of homes, and are you shopping by purchase price or monthly payment?
Dum, 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 dum.
Dum, 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 dum. So thanks a lot, Jason, for all of that insight. And
I try to kill it up to Nat standards, but I'm just never as good. I can't do
You just got to have more random statistics.
I
that you can
guess.
just pull out of thin air.
things you can just pull out of your head.
it. Right. Oh, is it your head or?
Your head.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. All right, until next time. Nice chat.
Good chat.
Good chat.
You have been listening to Homes WTF Podcast. Homes WTF Podcast is produced by Tim Beeman for Such and Such Media. The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our hosting or distribution companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be used without express written consent of Such and Such Media.